At a heat advisory for today. Probably we will have them issued for most days this week toward the weekend, and it goes until 7 p.m. for that heat index up to about 112. In New Orleans International Airport, we're at 94. We've got the blue skies. Most of our spots just kind of sweating and simmering right now as temperatures rise into the lower and middle 90s. And with that slightly higher humidity, especially compared to the break that we had over the weekend, we are feeling like up to 105 at Kenner, 108 Slidell, and as high as about 110 over toward Homa and Thibodaux. That 115 might be a bit high, but our live radar is showing most of our spots pretty quiet aside from a couple of coastal showers and storms. I do think we'll see a little bit of some isolated or spotty rain later through the afternoon, so we'll keep our rain chance near 30%. What a typical kind of forecast, except the heat is a little bit higher than average at 97 expected today. The average is 92. And then tonight north of the lake will be in the 70s, south of the lake about 80 degrees. Getting into our high resolution model here, this is by 3 p.m. starting to see a few spotty showers and storms. So a few of us will benefit from some cooling rain, and we're moving into the rest of this evening, 6 p.m. Still a little bit of rain out there, and most things wrapping up, most showers by about 10 p.m. or so. And then we'll do it again tomorrow and Thursday. Both look very similar with highs around 97 or 98 with that big high still in play over us. In the tropics, Tropical Storm Ernesto is just getting into the Caribbean Sea, with the center here having passed over a couple of northern Caribbean islands and getting very close now to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Clearly, you can see with our satellite imagery a better organization here as it is strengthening and could soon become a hurricane. It looks like it will pass over the Virgin Islands tonight and maybe even skirt the eastern part of Puerto Rico, maybe up to about 6 inches of rain for some parts of Puerto Rico expected with this system, possibly even a touch higher in a few locations. And then it picks up its strength to Category 1 hurricane status and then becomes a Category 2. So continues to strengthen as it curves off to the north and makes it near Bermuda by this weekend. This is the weakness that it's tapping into or will tap into between these two high pressure centers. And so a trough to the north also is drawing it to the north. And then look at this. Here comes another one off the northeast coast of the U.S. by this weekend. So that may nudge it farther out to the northeast. And so that's why your tropical models are showing this little kind of slight zigzag here, but eventually should get picked up and moved well off to the northeast pretty quickly by this weekend and early next week. So we've made it to the 5th named storm. We've made it all the way through Debbie and then to Ernesto. Next would be Francine and then Gordon. Looking at the season as a whole, by the way, we continue with no threats here in South Louisiana. So just to kind of look at what we've seen so far, the average 5th named storm, by the way, the E storm, on average forms August 22nd. So we're only a little bit early for that. The number of storms so far is about average. We're at 5. On average at this point, we would have had 4. But the energy, the accumulated cyclone energy associated with what we have seen is 3 times higher than average. And remember, the accumulated cyclone energy, the ACE, takes into account not just number of storms, but also how strong they get and how long they last. So looking at the accumulated cyclone energy, clearly out of the 40 units that we've had, Beryl was responsible for almost all. Remember, so strong, Category 5, lasted a long time. So our ACE is much higher than average because mainly of Beryl. By the way, looking at La Nina, we were expecting La Nina to maybe move in at some point around now, but we are not seeing it yet. Is it here yet? No, we're still in a neutral phase where Pacific waters are not cooling down like you would need for La Nina to form as quickly, and it's just not happening as fast as some of those early forecasts in May and June were predicting. Still a 65% chance of developing in autumn, but at this point we're not looking for really imminent La Nina conditions, so we will see how that affects the number. Normally, though, of course, late August, early September, toward the peak day of September 10th, we tend to see an increase in activity. But at this point, Ernesto is out there and we don't have any other spots to track at the moment. 7-day forecast shows our temperatures steamy the next couple of days, little higher rain chance, it looks like, by Saturday.
Thank you, Alexandra. And you know, before we go to break,